Could Kirk Cousins end up being sent to Santa Clara to play for the San Francisco 49ers? Well, according to Evan Massey, it's very possible. And for what it's worth, his Twitter account is headlined with featured on Forbes, ESPN, Yahoo, Fox Sports, Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, and it looks like he's an owner of a couple of independent sports websites. So it's got that vibe of last year, that one reporter, I don't remember his names, where look out, the Minnesota Vikings, they're in contact with the Cleveland Browns on a possible Odell Beckham Jr. trade. Holy shit, it's going down. So I don't know what to really make of this, but I'll entertain it anyway. Evan Massey says, 49ers still looking to make a move at quarterback. Kirk Cousins, I'm told, is a name to keep an eye on. If Vikings are open to dealing, San Francisco will push hard to acquire him. Ties with Shanahan make this an intriguing potential fit. And my initial takeaway from this is, well, it's interesting. Not from the standalone point of, okay, I'm assuming that Jimmy Garoppolo would have to be involved in this trade somehow. So if it's just that, the Vikings, they send Kirk Cousins to San Francisco. San Francisco, they send us a couple of draft picks along with Jimmy G, and that's it. Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in 2021. Hell no. Now, from the lens of a Mike Zimmer, he probably wouldn't care. He hates quarterbacks anyway, but also, hey, listen, he comes from a run-first offense with the 49ers, so he knows what the expectations are going to be of him. We'll move forward like nothing happened. But anybody else, hell no. Jimmy G is nowhere near the caliber of quarterback as Kirk Cousins. Even statistically speaking, Jimmy Garoppolo, his best season, 2019, he threw for 27 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, essentially a 2-to-1 ratio. You compare that to Kirk Cousins, the last 3 years with the Minnesota Vikings, goodness, 2018, 30-10, 2019, 26-6. This past 2020 season, 35-13. And oh, by the way, Jimmy G can't stay healthy. The last 3 years, he's missed 23 games. Compare that to Kirk Cousins. He's only missed one start the last 6 years. That one start that he missed, he was purposely sat in a meaningless Week 17 game against the Chicago Bears, in which the Minnesota Vikings already clinched to make the playoffs. But the reason why I find this so interesting is going back to last week. I talked about Deshaun Watson. And if the Vikings are going to be in play there has to be several moving parts. Number one, trading Kirk Cousins to San Francisco, reuniting him with Kyle Shanahan. That's the first domino that has to fall. Number two, Jimmy G getting reunited with Bill Belichick in New England, and basically building up enough draft capital to present an offer to the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson. But I don't believe I gave my own personal stance on if the Vikings should go forward with it or not. I think the last week I talked about from the standpoint of Rick Spielman, do you do it or not? And to be honest, I would have never imagined that you can get a respectable haul for Kirk Cousins in a San Francisco trade, even though we know that Kyle Shanahan values him so much. So I was under the impression, okay, maybe you can get a second-round pick and pair that up with your own 3 first-round picks, in which reportedly early on, that's what the Houston Texans wanted. It's like, okay, fine, you give up your own 3 first-round picks. And on one hand, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm not bitching out, I was really indecisive because on one hand, it's Deshaun Watson. You're fucking right, I want Deshaun Watson on this team. On the other hand, it's, all right, 3 first-round picks. I don't know about that. So I really didn't care either way. Beyond the Mike Zimmer, and I just want to run the ball all the time, I just really didn't care either way. I wouldn't criticize if they pulled the trigger or not. And then this past weekend, something happened. A trade. Matthew Stafford. I walked downstairs, and my wife tells me, hey, Matthew Stafford, he just got traded. And I said, wow, that was fast. He made it clear he wanted to get a fresh start with another team. Okay, great. Yeah, he got traded to the LA Rams. Okay, fantastic. Wow, amazing. And then she went on to say, they traded Matthew Stafford to the LA Rams for 2 first-round picks and a third. And I said, what? Start over. Can you read that again from the beginning? 2 first-round picks and a third for Matthew Stafford? That changes everything. On the surface, do I think Kirk Cousins is worth 2 firsts and a third? Absolutely not, but the market dictates all. Kirk Cousins is either on par or even slightly better than Matthew Stafford, so that's where I'm starting with Kirk Cousins. Now, even though I saw the updated list of demands from the Texans, it went from earlier reported 3 first-round picks to now 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 2 young defensive starters. It sounds nice in theory, but there's only one problem. What young defensive starters are the Minnesota Vikings going to give up? Is it going to be Eric Kendricks? No. Is it going to be Danielle Hunter? Fuck no. And listen, there's no guarantee that he's going to start the 2021 season healthy or even play at all recovering from a neck injury, but I'll take my chances. He's the best edge rusher in the game. Cam Dantzler, Jeff Gladney? No. Mike Zimmer's a defensive head coach. He'll never allow it. Now, Anthony Barr, listen, he's not young. He's going into his 8th season, but I can sell Anthony Barr. Oh, the low sack totals, the low tackle totals, and all that stuff throughout his career. Listen, it doesn't work like that. He makes plays for people to be successful. He makes everyone around him better. He's essentially the Chris Paul of all of football. And to top it off, he wears the green dot. It doesn't get any better than that. I can sell Anthony Barr, bro. But all jokes aside, you don't have the defensive starters to give up, or at least that Mike Zimmer would be willing to give up. So I almost feel like you're better off going up and sweetening the deal with the earlier reported 3 first-round picks. If you can get 2 first-round picks for Kirk Cousins from the San Francisco 49ers, and hey, listen, that 3rd-round pick, maybe you can swing it from the New England Patriots, then suddenly, all of a sudden, you add in your own 1st-round pick, and there are your 3 first-round picks right there, along with a 3rd. And let's say Anthony Barr. Hey, it's better than what you last reported. There's no way the Vikings should take less than the Stafford deal when talking about Kirk Cousins, unless you already know with a lesser deal that you're still going to get Deshaun Watson. Because if you don't, and you're SOL, and Jimmy G's your starting quarterback, or he's gone to New England, and God damn it, Sean Mannion is your starting quarterback, and you're SOL, you don't get Deshaun Watson, everybody should be fired, because Kirk Cousins, like him or not, going into 2021, unless you get Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins gives this team the best chance to win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I don't know if this Evan Massey guy, if his sources are correct or whatever. Like I said, last year, the whole Vikings, they might be trading for Odell Beckham Jr. It's like, we'll see what happens if it turns to be true. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We do this 3 times a week. Mediocre Best Sports Podcast, Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at Realistic_Randy, Facebook at Realistic Randy. We'll see you later this week.